Okay, I want to prove to you that the following equation is always going to hold. The futures price for delivery at time t is equal to the spot price of the asset times 1 plus the risk-free rate raised to the t power. So let's consider the following example. Let's say the spot price of gold is $1,350 an ounce. Let's say that we observe in the market the futures price for April, which is 6 months, so let's just say futures price in 6 months is equal to $1,360. What should we do? Well, we want to use this equation, and we also note that the risk-free rate is, for purposes here, 2%. So what I do is I say, well, the futures price should be $1,350 times 1.02 raised not to the 6, but we got to put this in terms of years, raised to the 6 over 12 or the 1/2. This is equal to 1363.43. We don't worry about the rounding. Okay, so the equation didn't hold. I observed this in the market. I know it should be that. Can I make money? The answer is yes. I want to take a series of actions today. I want to see what the cash flow is today. My goal is to make this cash flow 0 today. See the cash flow in 6 months, and my goal is to make that cash flow positive. Okay, well, look at the futures here. I can enter the contract at 1360. I think it should be 1363. That's undervalued. If it's undervalued, I'm going to buy it, so I'll go long the futures. Well, if I go long the futures today, there's 0 cash flow because I just entered the contract, but that means in 6 months I have to buy the gold for 1360. Well, if I'm long the futures, if I think it's too cheap, I also think that the spot is too expensive, so I short the spot. If I short the spot, that means I borrow an ounce of gold and I sell it. I get $1,350. And if I borrow that ounce of gold and get my $1,350, I'm going to buy a U.S. Treasury bond. I'm going to buy that bond that's risk-free, or Treasury note, whatever. Pay $1,350 for it. The cash flow today is 0. So what happens in 6 months? In 6 months, I buy the gold for $1,360. I take the ounce of gold. I return it to the original owner from whom I've shorted it. I've taken care of that. I buy the bond, and the bond pays me $1,363.43. So I make $3.43. How do I know that's true? Because if I invest $1,350 at 2% for 6 months, that's how much I get. Well, what if we observed the futures price to be $1,370 and not $1,360? In that case, what would we want to do? Well, the actions here are going to be the opposite. Now the futures contract is overvalued. Something's overvalued, I short it. So I short the futures. Cash flow today is 0. The cash flow in 6 months I've promised to sell. So I'm going to get that ounce, I'm going to sell the ounce of gold for $1,370. Okay, but I got to get the ounce of gold, right? So I can buy the gold today. So I buy the spot, and it costs me $1,350 today. Where do I get that money? I borrow that money. So I borrow, or I sell a bond, whichever way you want to think about it. I borrow the money to buy the spot. I'm out, no money today. Time goes by, I have to repay this loan. In 6 months I have to repay the loan, $1,363.43. So I've repaid the loan. I have the gold. I sell the gold for $1,370, and I make $6.57. So this shows that this equation has to hold. There are exceptions. We'll talk about exceptions later on, but for an investment commodity, this equation has to hold.